Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to sear your dumplings with the crispy skirt. But we're going to take this camera and bring it over here so you can see in the pan pretty much the whole time. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so when we're going to do these dumplings, it's best and easiest if you're going to use a nonstick pan if you have it. If you don't have a nonstick pan, you can use a regular pan, but I would just spray it down with nonstick spray first before you put your oil in, because the skirt itself will stick to the pan. So we're going to start on a high heat and get our pan moderately warm before we go in with our dumplings. I'm going to put about probably 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in. And since we're doing the skirt batter around the dumplings, we don't want to get our pan super hot before we go in with our dumplings, because we're not really necessarily going to sear the bottom of these dumplings in the beginning. It's going to happen with the skirt. So I'm going to start putting them in now while the pan isn't super hot. And I'm just going to line them up. I'm going to lower the pan because I can hear it starting to sizzle. I'm going to go to like a medium heat under it. You can see a medium heat. Just be gentle as you're lifting all your dumplings, because the moisture on the inside, they can stick a little bit. But we've taken the precaution and sprayed the aluminum that it's coming in already, so it shouldn't be difficult at all to get them out. But okay, so we've got our dumplings in, nice and spaced out. Okay, so immediately you're gonna have a little 4-ounce container of dumpling batter. I just have mine in something to pour out of so it looks better. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our batter and we're gonna pour all around the dumplings themselves. And you can see when I go in, it is creating a skirt for the dumplings. And once this is done, they'll all be stuck together by a crispy chip. So what you can do is pick up the chip, dunk the dumpling in the sauce, and eat it that way. It's super delicious. So this batter itself is like 90% water. So what we want to do is, to steam the dumplings, we're going to put a lid on it for a couple minutes. Probably about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes we're going to have this on there, and then we're going to take it off and I'll show you the rest. Okay, so it's been about 2.5 minutes. We're still on that medium heat, and we're going to go ahead and take off our lid now. And you can see how it just kind of moves as one, and that's going to be our skirt. And what you want to do now is start to really pay attention to it. Like you can see here how the batter is a little wider. I'm gonna leave the flame right in the middle of the pan to take care of that. As you can see over here, it's starting to caramelize. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of move our pan around to make sure the whole thing caramelizes evenly. So I've moved the pan over so the eye is like right here on it, because I want to start getting this caramelization over here. And you can see there's a good amount of oil in the pan because there's oil in the batter and the oil that we started with. But that's so the whole batter is really just kind of sitting in oil, so it caramelizes evenly. You can see as I move it how kind of just the whole thing kind of moves with it. So you see our caramelization is starting to come over here. It takes a little longer than just searing, like pan searing dumplings, but it is worth the extra 4 minutes that this takes because it completely changes what a dumpling is. So we're going to kind of move it over. So now the eye is kind of right here on the pan. And you can see back here it's starting to caramelize real lightly. Up here it's starting to look really, really good. We just want to really concentrate right here. And this is something where if you want, you know, sort of a thicker chip, all you need to do is pour more batter in the beginning and you'll get a thicker chip. But if you want to have this sort of like lattice looking thing on it, you know, less batter is all it is. And we can see it starting to caramelize right here. This is going to be really beautiful. So now I've come back here because we can see there's a lot of white right in between these two dumplings, whereas back here it's really started to caramelize and become a chip one as whole. You know, it's just like anything else. Cooking is all about, you know, feeling, watching, adapting. That's all this is. I'd say we're getting really, really close. You can see there's still some white in here, there's some white here, and some white here, but you can see as a whole, really the whole thing is kind of starting to become this chip. And you can also tell because all the sizzling, you see where it's caramelized? There's much less sizzling because there's less water evaporation happening. All this is where like little pockets of water and batter might have been a little thicker, but you can see I moved the pan and the whole thing goes with it. It's really, really beautiful. Maybe another 30 seconds to a minute in here and that should take care of itself. This one little pocket here is all we're waiting on. But I think by the time we go to the plate, it'll be fine. So I've turned my heat off. And if you want to follow me over here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of the excess oil. So I've got my spatula, and I'm going to bring it over to my sink. I'm going to hold the dumplings, and I'm just going to pour the excess oil out. So we're left with our skirt. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the cutting board. So we're going to change the angle of the camera, and we're going to... Okay, so we've got our dumplings over here. I'm going to use a larger plate for it. So I'm going to put my plate kind of upside down like this. Here, let me think about this. And then I'm going to touch the dumplings to the bottom of it, and then I'm just going to do that. Okay? That's, you know, the main reason you want to get the oil out of the pan is because you don't want to burn yourself right there. And you can see we're left with this like really beautiful crispy lattice with all our dumplings attached on the inside. Now right now these dumplings are about 1,000,001 degrees because they just came out of a pan. So while those cool down just a bit, we're going to make the dumpling sauce, which is very, very simple. You have one container that says 4 dumpling sauce, and you have one container that says dumpling sauce. You're going to take the one that says 4 dumpling sauce. In here you have cilantro, you have red Thai bird chilies, you have some garlic chive and some ginger that's chopped up. You're going to dump this in a container that you can dunk a dumpling in, and then you're going to take your dumpling sauce and you're going to pour it right around the edges. Just like that. So then you're left with your dumplings with your lettuce and your sauce to dip it in. And what you can do is just kind of take your fingers, you can hear that, how crunchy it is, break your dumpling off with your hands, dunk it in there, and just go for it.